I'll just start my screen sharing.
Sure. Yeah,
Bengaluru, that counts as the third top startup city across the globe, opens up a new and exciting opportunity for innovators to come on board at the Dayananda Sagar University. Founded by late Sri R. Dayananda Sagar and late Dr. Chandrama Sagar, Dayananda Sagar Institutions is into education and healthcare for over 6 decades. DSI is today considered a center of excellence in producing students with exceptional academic skills and leadership qualities. DSI is now headed by Dr. D. Hemachandra Sagar and Dr. D. Premachandra Sagar. This leadership has successfully managed and excelled in ensuring excellence in all of its offerings. This great foundation ensured DSI to be invited by the Karnataka state government to set up a private university in the state. DSU could be among the very few campuses in the country to have a well-planned startup village that houses innovation labs supported by industry leaders. DSU provides a platform to visionaries and inventors to experiment their ideas. Globally reputed MNCs that include Autodesk, Bosch Etas, IBM, GE, VMware, NVIDIA and Boston Bosch Rexroth, Dassault Systems are now part of the DSU initiatives. These companies have invested vast resources to create a one-of-its-kind facility to be used by the community. Joining this great movement is the support from industry bodies, Indian Electronics and Semiconductors Association, Manufacturers Association of India, and Indian Institute of Science in Bengaluru. The startup village will now receive guidance from Arizona State University, Rochester Institute of Technology, and Illinois Institute of Technology, Chicago. With a reputation for innovation, are strong backers of the DSU initiatives. Distinguished individuals from industry, academics, research, government are lined up to mentor each of the entrepreneurial ideas to ensure all good ideas meet with success. A bouquet of specialists on call, patent lawyers to accountants, costing and taxation specialists, company secretaries, procurement engineers, bankers, designers, packaging specialists, logistics experts is one more feature of the DSU campus. Every year, groups of individuals enter the DSU portals with a burning passion and a dream to achieve. With the combined support and resources at their command, they are now sure to walk out of the DSU campus as most of the companies enlisted on the National Stock Exchange and a university degree. The ecosystem created by DSU can now accommodate 300 enterprises and welcomes the community to take advantage of this great option and work towards making India a strong manufacturing nation. For passionate and innovative youth, Bengaluru is the place to be. And presenting
Dayananda Sagar University, live the dream.
Bengaluru.
Good morning and a warm welcome to all the distinguished and highly esteemed teachers from across Pan India who have joined us today. It's a pleasure to have you all here for this enlightening webinar, an integral part of Dayananda Sagar University School Development Initiative Program, that is SDIP. We are truly delighted to have such a gathering of forefront educators from across Pan India here with us. Dayananda Sagar University takes a pride in being part of renowned Dayananda Sagar institutions, an institution known for its excellence in education for over 60 years. It comprises of top-notch colleges, universities, schools, and international institutions. Our SDIP initiative is dedicated to advancing the professional development of our educators through high variety of workshops and training sessions. prioritizing the well-being of educators, providing opportunities and pedagogical approaches for their professional development are crucial components for ensuring a high-quality education system. These trainings will help teachers stay current and improve their teaching skills, ultimately benefiting our future generations and education system as a whole. Now, storytelling is not a relic of the past, but a vibrant and transformative art that can enrich modern practices. As educators, you all have profound responsibility to prepare the succeeding generation for a future where adaptability, creativity, and effective communications are paramount. Our distinguished speakers today will provide us with valuable insights into how storytelling can be harnessed to meet these challenges and guide our students towards a brighter future. It is my honor to introduce you all to our first speaker of the day, Dr. K. N. Balasubramanya Murthy, Professor of Computer Science Engineering and Vice Chancellor, Dayananda Sagar University. He was a former Vice Chancellor of PES University, Bangalore. Sir holds a bachelor's degree in Electrical Power Engineering, master's degree in Electrical Engineering from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and PhD in Computer Science and Engineering from IIT Madras. Sir has worked as a research specialist in parallel computing at New Mexico State University, USA. Sir is also a former member of Karnataka State Higher Education Council and the Academic Senate member of IIT Dharwad. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Our second speaker for today is Mr. Mahendra B. Thakur. He is a leading award-winning international corporate trainer, life coach, and an educationist. He is a certified coach from Harvard Management, founder and CEO of U Transformation Private Limited and Brain Blueprint. He is the national head of education and development at PDUSS. He has a wide experience in management, training, and consulting with renowned companies like JP Morgan and Reliance Industries. He was honored as the Inspirational Person of the Year 2020 and bestowed with Esteemed Karmavir Award in 2023. He has trained and guided over 50,000 individuals so far from 200 plus education institutes, including IIM Jammu and IIT Indore. I'm sorry. Welcome, Mr. Mahendra Thakur. I would request Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, today to set the context and share his views, please. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Good morning, my fellow panelist or speaker, Mahendra Thakur sir, Madam Bhairavi Chavan, Shinde from the Chief Marketing Officer of Dayananda Sagar University, my faculty colleagues who have joined this webinar on a Saturday morning from various schools across the country. A warm welcome to each one of you. I'm extremely happy that Dayananda Sagar University in Bangalore has taken a initial responsibility of organizing few workshops and sessions like this for all of us to meet and exchange few ideas. We all belong to the same community, the teaching community. I think we have lots of things in common. And these programs will give us an opportunity to meet and exchange our thought process and try our best to incorporate some of them into our day-to-day activities. I think all of us are basically teachers. For teachers, two important things become of relevance. One is teaching, how effectively we teach our students. Second, how they learn the things what we have taught in the class, which is normally being measured through an assessment or a test or whatever. And each one of us are unique in what we are doing. Whenever we teach a course, the same course is being taught differently by different teachers. And each one of us adopt a different pedagogy. And each pedagogy has its own impact. And all pedagogies may not suit all people. Therefore, this is what we need to understand while teaching a course. And different pedagogies can be used for teaching the same course by different people. Therefore, it's necessary for us to understand that there's no rule or there's no mandate that a course has to be taught in a particular way. That's not there. I think it's left to us to choose a particular pedagogy. And it's also equally important for us to understand to choose a pedagogy which suits our style of teaching, our way of life, our way of personality. Therefore, it's, in my opinion, if the pedagogy and the personality suits, if they match, the teaching is going to be very effective. Failing which, if I try to do some pedagogy which I'm not very comfortable with, it's not going to work out well. Thereby, the students may not appreciate what we are doing. And in my experience of 4 decades, I have understood that students like a course because they like their teacher. If the teacher is really good, they start liking that course, put the extra effort to learn that course, to ensure that to make the teacher very happy. If the teacher is not up to the mark, if the teacher is, then the student also hate not only teacher but also the subject. That's what normally happens. Therefore, it's necessary for us to ensure that our students like the teachers, like all of us. Then they start liking our teaching. Then they start liking the subject. That's how it is. Therefore, I would request all of you to know that it's extremely important for us to choose a pedagogy which will be really interesting, which suits our personality, and which is also effective in making that, in imparting the knowledge in that course. I think that's the object with which this particular webinar or the seminar has been organized. I need to thank the admission team of Dayananda Sagar University for organizing this at regular intervals of time. More or less every 15 days we have a seminar, a webinar on some topic or the other, which is relevant to all of us to meet and interact. Also, thanks to the entire organizing team for creating a platform for all of us to meet virtually. And even if we get to one point out of the seminar, I'm sure the purpose of this particular seminar is fulfilled, even if we can incorporate some of the things. I'm sure by the end of this webinar, you would carry 1 or 2 points back home and try to incorporate it. Mahendra Thakur is an expert who would give you lots of points. I am not an expert in this area, but however, let me try and make few opening remarks on this particular pedagogical method. Storytelling, the art of storytelling, and its role in education. I think all of us, irrespective of whatever we are doing, I think we like our grandparents. Because we like our grandparents because they used to tell some story or the other to us. They used to spend a lot of time with us. And story is always a kind of pedagogy to keep the attention intact. And it all depends on how exactly you're going to build the story and impart the story to the listener or the audience. Therefore, all of us like our grandparents. And of course, present day, we may not have grandparents at home. Our children are missing that. Therefore, it is necessary. The storytelling is a a wonderful art. It's the beautiful method of imparting the knowledge to the uh, the learners. And similarly, we can use that particular art form in our teaching. For that, a lot of work to be done. You cannot impart the storytelling to in a course or in a subject and use that pedagogy in every course. It's not going to be easy because a lot of work needs to be done. And what are the important things? The important components in this is how exactly you're going to build the story and ensure that the curiosity and the creativity exists in the story. Is it possible to use a storytelling method or storytelling pedagogy in mathematics, in a subject like physics, in a subject like chemistry? Is it possible? If I'm teaching a course on artificial intelligence, can I build a story on artificial intelligence? Somewhere I read where Julia Perl, who is Alan Turing Award winner, mentions that is it possible for teaching the courses of science historically? He advocates that anything that's being taught historically or the best course that's going to be there is going to remain in the minds of the people. What is the objective of teaching? The objective of teaching is to ensure that the student is going to understand, assimilate, and relate to, and also use that in the future. Basically, the recall has to happen. It has to remain in the minds of the people permanently. The impact of storytelling is exactly that. Even whatever the story that we heard in our younger days, we still remember all of that. Therefore, the impact of storytelling is exactly that. Therefore, for that, lot of work needs to be done. If I want to build a story around, say, calculus, before calculus, I need to tell them how exactly the calculus evolved. For calculus to evolve, the algebra becomes important. Therefore, you need to get back to algebra and understand algebra and go back to algebra and find out how did algebra evolve. Now, they're all interrelated. When they're interrelated, it's much easier for us to build a story and tell the story in the way that can be understood by the student, appreciated by the learner. I'm sure the storytelling, if you look at the kind of thing, it's going to create an imagination in the mind of the listener, because you're going to create something in the virtual world. When you try to explain the story, people start imagining in their own way. Different people imagine differently. However, the understanding is going to become permanent. The remembrance is going to become permanent. I'm sure it's going to give a wonderful experience. To have that experience sustain for a longer duration, the storytelling must be really, really good. In other words, it must be creative, and this must be absorbing, because you need to build that particular thing. Whenever I think of storytelling, it reminds me of the movies, where how the movies are made. The movies are normally around the story. Possibly, you know that some stories are built wonderfully well. They take you to they take in a particular opportunity to tell the backstory, the small things which are going to happen in between. So therefore, storytelling is an art. It's not going to be so easy. The second thing that comes to my mind is one is the films. Whenever I talk of films, to have that impact and to make it much more kind of effective, they use other things also, like music. They use the conversations. Lots of things are being, there's also drama over there, dance over there. Therefore, these are all the associated things that are going to happen. The second thing that reminds me of storytelling is all about, I don't know how many of you are aware of Harikatha. Harikatha is being told by a few people, that masters. For example, I remember Bajragiri Achyut Das. He is a wonderful storyteller. Gururajal Naidu, Lakshmanacharya, fantastic Venkat Subbarao, Kamala Murthy. They're all people of eminence. Each one of them have their own way of telling the story. Though they tell the same story, when you listen to each one of them, it appears different. It appears all right, being pursued in a wonderful way. Clarity is going to evolve. Whenever we talk of Harikatha, I'm sure it's a storytelling, art of storytelling. Whenever Harikatha is being rendered, it's always also with music. There's some music, there is some poetry, some drama, some dance, some philosophy. I think lots of things are going to evolve. I'm sure in the storytelling in the education sector, we need to build a story. It's going to involve tremendous amount of research. To build a story around calculus is not going to be easy. You cannot just talk about it. You need to make each one of them as a character. For example, cos theta, sin theta has to become characters. Tan theta, cot theta, whatever you are going to talk about, each one of them have to become characters. And find out how these characters evolved. What is the role of each character? I think it's extremely important for us to do a lot of preparations. I'm very happy that this particular pedagogical form is being discussed. Our expert would tell us more about this in the next 1 hour or so. I'm very happy that Dayananda Sagar University is taking some interesting topics for discussions, for interactions. It also reminds me of one important statement that's been made by, probably heard of Steven Pinker. Steven Pinker is a professor of psychology from Harvard University. He has written several books. All of them are best-selling books. In one of the books, he says that the title of the book is How the Mind Works. He talks about several things. It's a fantastic book. He talks about calculus and algebra. He says in the science subjects, is hard to build, or hard to remember, hard to assimilate, where other things are going to be much easier. And he also says the mathematics are, some of these subjects are considered to be very tough or difficult, mainly because they are connected components. There's a lot of background. You cannot teach a particular topic in isolation. There's a connected component to it. When I talk of mathematics, I think it starts with addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. When you say differentiation, it's like division. When you talk about integration, it's like summation. Therefore, the basic components are put together to form complex components. In other words, the derived components. There are some fundamental components. The fundamental components are put together to get the derived components. From the derived components, we try to build advanced derived components. Thereby, the connections need to exist. The connected components are nothing but the characters. Each of those characters have to come and get reflected and stay in the minds of the audience. I'm sure this is a top-class pedagogical method being used in some of the by some of the teachers. It requires a lot of research, a lot of experience. Make it really interesting. It has to appear very simple, at the same time is deeply involved. You may be telling the story in a lighter way, but the impact is going to be phenomenal. I'm sure by the end of this particular webinar, you get a lot of points to take home, and you will really enjoy every bit of Mahendra's deliberation, the next discussion, next 45 minutes to 1 hour. And I'm glad that Dayananda Sagar University has taken this initiative to organize this particular event. And I wish this event a grand success, and thank Mahendra sir for taking his time to be with us this morning. And also thank each one of you for taking time off your busy schedule to be with us. Next 1 hour, simply relax, listen to Mahendra sir. He's going to tell a story to us. I think listen to the story, incorporate some of those components in your teaching, and see whether your students are going to like it. Let this particular pedagogy, the idea gets translated, gets transformed, or gets moving from one person to the other person. That's what I keep telling whenever I did my PhD. I learned the art of research from my teacher. I found 1 or 2 things which are missing. I added those 2 components, gave it to my students. And my students added 1 or 2 things of their own and given to their students. I think that's how the information pass, the art of doing research gets. Similarly, art of storytelling will also get passed on from one person to another person. Probably there are generations of people who have transferred their knowledge, that transferred their art of storytelling to their students and the community. I'm sure these art forms are quite common in this country. I think that's also I would like to mention. Possibly no other country has these kinds of things. Ancient Indian education system had all these components. I think we need to revive and take them forward. Show to the world that we have everything that we won't talk about. This country had phenomenal components. We can teach each and everything the way we want. We can use any pedagogical method to teach any course. I think it's possible to do it. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this event. And I wish each one of you very best in the future. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and such good wisdom words for us, which is really energizing. And I'm sure now Mr. Mahendra will proceed the same thing. Over to you, Mr. Mahendra.
So
Before he starts, I would like to, I'm so sorry to cut you off. I would like to inform all the participants, they can key in their questions in the question and answer box, which will be answered at the end of the session by Mr. Mahendra. Over to you.
Thank you, Bhargavi ma'am. Thank you so much for this wonderful session. When Murthy sir was talking, I felt like, keep on listening to him. So I forgot my session completely. I'm completely blank right now. So that was such a beautiful way of narrating your story, narrating your point of view to the wider audience. And I think Murthy sir has demonstrated what we are going to learn today. As sir already mentioned, and we were just talking before our program started, that I always wanted an independent body to come and start giving valuable learning sessions or program which are useful for teachers. Because I'm into already this personal development industry. We do a lot of open programs. There are a lot of programs organized by the schools or corporations. Very few teachers take their time and money out of their pocket and attend a session by their own. So all the people who are right now watching this, more than I think 130, 140 people are right now watching, and it will keep on increasing. Hats off to you, my kudos, my sincere gratitude to all of you for joining this session and giving the most precious thing in the world, your time. And it is my responsibility now to ensure that your investment of 60 minutes are justified. As Sir rightly mentioned, sir, you may not be able to remember everything, though I will try to. But even though you take one thing out of this entire program, I would consider this program as a success. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for coming into the session. Vice Chancellor, sir, as I was just referring that I have never seen a Vice Chancellor coming to a program, attending and giving their personal time despite of their so busy schedule. So that shows your interest, your commitment, and your vision for this initiative and your university. So thank you so much. My gratitude to you. Thank you to Bharvi for entire coordination. Thank you, Shinde sir, for organizing it. And thank you the entire team who's walking behind. I won't be able to name, but thank you so much for every single contribution that you have made. Because this giving me an opportunity to share something which I always felt I should share. Because when I still remember, when I was conducting my very first faculty development program in the year 2014. So it was a school in Pune, and it's a 100 years old school. I think around 1893, it was established by a visionary Pasri leader. Very, very good school, very high in quality. Everything was in order, everything neat and clean. And the school was known for one thing. Can you say what is that one thing school is known for? Punctuality, time. You have everything is done on time. Everybody will be reaching on time. At most disciplined school I have come across, very few in India, but I have come across. So it was a fantastic school. I was very, very excited. And I was also very nervous because it was my first chance to conduct a faculty development program. So I was excited, I was nervous, but yet I wanted to conduct this program. You know what happened? I made my first blunder. So I usually say to people, I don't make mistakes, I make blunders. I made my first blunder. And can you guess what could be that blunder? I reached 30 minutes late to my session, to my program. The program was supposed to start by 11 o'clock. The program was supposed to start by 11 o'clock. I reached at the school 11:25. And by the time I entered the hall, it was 11:30. So 30 minutes late. And there's a story, okay? So I was excited. I booked my cab. Cab didn't turn up. Somehow I was supposed to catch a train. I missed the train. I again booked the local cab. I got stuck in traffic. It's a lot of background story, okay? But more of the story is I got late. And everybody was furious. The organizer, the coordinator who invited me, and some of the teacher, and all the people who knew that this principal was very, very disciplined. And everybody expected that she is going to blast or she's going to say something so harsh that, I will just melt away. So that was the moment I directly entered into training hall. No greeting, no chai, no pani, no nothing. Directly into training hall. And I entered. And I was standing at the podium, that stage. And I could see around 120 teachers. All those eyes were on me. And they were also expecting something is going to happen. And they were also looking at the principal. They were looking at me, looking at principal, looking at me, looking at principal. I just apologized and shared my story. Because I didn't know what to do. To be very honest, I had planned my session. To be very honest, I had proper PPT, proper, I wanted to interact before the training to teachers just to get to know them. So I have everything planned in my mind. But situation turned out to be completely different. So I just apologized and I started telling my story. Within 3 minutes, the atmosphere was completely changed. The entire tension was released. They were smiling, they were talking, and all the eyes were glued, and they were so much engaged in the program. Principal also laughed. So everybody was assured that now things are normal. The program was fantastic. Everybody enjoyed it. Until date, that is one of the most memorable program of my life. Now, can you tell me what did happen in that day? What did happen? I learned something. And that, all my dear educators who are watching me right now, I learned something. First time in my life, I learned the power of storytelling. Because in my mind, when I was, walking into that hall, I was making excuse. I will say sorry. I will say I'm not like this person. I will say I have so and so background. Everything, I had so many answers that I was supposed to say. But I did not say any answer and I just narrated my story. Genuine personal story, what happened. And I was accepted. I was trusted. That is the power of storytelling. Of course, you may not find it very relatable with your current classroom setting, but don't we do this all the time at every place? We are doing it every place, everywhere. And we all are doing storytelling day in, day out. That's what I learned about storytelling. And story is something that transforms people, all the knowledge, all the wisdom. You see, sir was talking about ancient India, okay? And I was attending, so I was watching, actually hearing of something of a code, and most of the time one reference was coming where it has been written. So in the Western philosophy, they believe what is written, but in Indian philosophy, we don't have much text written. Okay, then how all the wisdom, all the knowledge, all the rituals pass through generation to generations? Can somebody tell me? Yes, you are right. The answer is storytelling. We all have stories from our grandparents to our parents to our neighbors, uncle, aunties. Everybody kept on telling stories since our childhood. And that's how we formulated the entire culture, the rituals, the whatever you call it. We learned this environment is surrounded by the stories. All the wisdom has been passed generation after generation. I also run a company called Brain Blueprint, where a lot of psychometric analysis, a lot of brain related stuff. We keep on doing research. We keep on talking about it. And what we were discussing the other day with one of the expert in USA, okay, what she was telling me, and when she studied the brain of various continents, why Indians are succeeding right now, Indian, Chinese, these Asian people are succeeding right now to a very fast level, especially when it comes to logic, it comes to mathematics, it comes to managing multiple things, growing very fast, adopting, grasping. The brain of this continent works better than the brain of the other continents. And the answer is because we are used to learn by words, by listening. Our listening ability, our temporal lobe, the lobe which is responsible for listening and music, temporal lobe, that has been developed by listening and listening and listening. So the moment somebody speaks, we are able to form the picture out of it. That is where we are able to outpass many people in the same category. Of course, it is very generalization, is not applicable to everybody, but that's what she was sharing with me. And I was so surprised, yes, because see, for example, we remember the names of, maybe not right now in the urban area, but if you go to rural area, they will remember the name of all their relatives. And the moment they see, okay, he's so and so from so and so, they remember the name of the village. They know the name of their ancestors. They know the stories of their ancestors. Everything is connected. If you just walk to any village and sit with an old person, he will keep on telling you the name, and probably thousands of names he will remember. How? And that maybe that person is not very literate per se. That's the story. So that's the power of storytelling. Are you guys excited for today's session, by the way?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Bharvi, because see, I was just sharing, I need energy from the participants.
No. They are all waiting. In fact, we have good number of participants, and of course, everything is evolved around a story. Every name, every city, every country has their own story. Every person has its own story. Like you were sharing your
Correct.
stories. We are you said you learned from your first session. It was you said it was a mistake, but then you formulated it into a story, and
Correct.
which headed to your success. You didn't have to get the backfire or something. So of course we are looking forward for storytelling, and yes, even we at this age also, like at this any point of time, anybody loves stories. Who will not? Right from one small toddler from till the age of 60, somebody has their own story. They will. So please, you can start up.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bharvi. And see, I know you are behind the camera, but I have got magical power. I could still see you, all of you. I can see you. I have the screen where I can see all the people, though your camera is off. So I am a hacker. Just imagine that, and I could see you. So just get ready and change your physio state. Whatever you are doing, just stretch yourself, and be ready. Let's say in aeroplane, fasten your seatbelt, because we are about to start. We are
Yes.
about to start the session of art of storytelling in education.
Yes.
See, I don't have to emphasize on storytelling. We know you are a great educator. You know the importance of storytelling. But the challenge is for somebody like me, I'm not good in storytelling. I'm telling you right now. I am not good at all telling story, in the storytelling. And if you don't trust me, ask my wife. I can't tell stories. I just come to the point. I'm a very technical person, so I directly come to the point. I tell it, and that's it. But when it comes to teaching, we have to learn storytelling. So in order to learn the storytelling in your classroom, in your education, I need three things from you. Number one, I need your 100% participation. Raise your hand and say, yes, you have my 100% participation.
100%. See, already there are hands they are raising.
Oh,
I can
perfect.
see people are raising hands. See,
perfect.
you can also see.
Deepali, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for raising your hand, Aarti. Wow. So that's how it is becoming interesting. So yes, this is what I was, missing. Active participation. Number two, don't believe in what I say. So you might have attended many trainers, many speakers. They come and they say, trust me, believe me what I say. I'm the trainer who comes and always say, don't believe in what I say. Whatever I'm saying, you don't have to believe me. Trust me, you don't have to believe a single word that I say. You listen to me, you pass through your own experience, and only what you agree, what you accept, that's what you have to believe. Full stop. I may be talking 100 things in this program. Leave everything aside. Only one thing, if you are able to accept, just believe that. Third, the last request that I have with all of you, thank you, Sushmita ma'am. Third and the last request that I have with all of you, that apply what you agree and accept. No session, no book, no amount of preparation is useful if you cannot apply what you learn. And when will you apply? Can somebody tell me? You will apply right now, right here. Not on Monday, not post Diwali, not post whatever the holidays. Only after this program, right now, immediately you have to apply. And I'll give you a practical tips. We will come to that soon. Bharvi ma'am, the only help that I need from you is that you need to give me a time check. So when we have around 20 minutes left, that's where you have to tell me, so I can manage that. Okay.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. And I see, so since then, after that first school in Pune, I have conducted more than 100 plus faculty development teachers training program. Okay. And every time I conduct these programs, I get to meet so many wonderful educators. They all are phenomenal human beings, wonderful human beings. They are great, great inspirational educators. Really, I really love talking to teachers. But I don't know about your school, but it happens, when an outsider comes, we tend to be more open. So at least this is what happens with me. So I'm blessed that people feel connected with me and they are ready to share. They're opening their heart to me. So I feel so blessed. I feel so responsible. Now, most of the time, these phenomenal educators share with me about their challenges. So, comment box is not there, but just if you have a pen and paper, write down your 1 or 2 core challenges that you face. Why in your classroom or in your teaching experience or in the job that you're doing. 1 or 2 great challenges that you all face. And to be very honest, when I conducted my first program, I thought teachers, because I was a student, I saw teacher like this. I thought they have everything perfect. They have sorted out everything. But when I started becoming very close to them, I started digging deeper. I realized the problem is huge. The problem is in wholesale. The problem is teachers do not get time to take care of themselves. Do you agree? Raise your hand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why we are trying to, motivate them, give them overall development and, trying to make them the perfect so that, our future generation is absolutely going to think, yes, we have learned and these are our teachers.
Thank you so much, Bharvi ma'am. And the more teachers also share with me that nowadays they have really difficult time in getting the attention of the class.
Yes.
The students are not able to focus. We have to keep on telling them, remind them, listen to me, pay attention, pay attention. It has become extremely difficult to grab and hold the attention of students. Raise your hand if you agree. Especially after COVID, trust me, this online teaching has changed the scenario completely.
You are getting a good response. Immediately our participants are raising their hands. You can see.
Thank you so much for
the questions have already started pouring in. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Definitely we'll take up
at
the end of the session.
Thank you. Komadi, Usha Devi ma'am, thank you. So the list goes on. And one thing that I found very common, and I don't know whether you also agree with me, is, and this is common across. So I have trained from Jammu till Kerala, from Odisha till Gujarat and Maharashtra. So almost sort of India I have covered, but this is a common theme that I observed. And please help me to know if you also have experienced this. Most of the teachers, educators, they told me, sir, we don't see the same respect that we used to have for our teachers. And, it hit me like, correct, that's absolutely true. As a teacher, what is the most valuable thing for you? A love, affection, and respect from your student. Isn't that we all are craving for? Isn't that we are all are working for? We want to build that student. We want to take them to a level where they become something what they are capable of. And all we need in return is that respect. Unfortunately, that respect is missing.
That is happening because the students do not listen. Right?
Yeah, that
I
could be
just
one of the
received a
reasons.
question also on this when I'm talking to you. They're saying we do not know how to make the students focus on our listening. When the teacher is teaching, one student will look here, one student will look there, then the teacher will not be able to concentrate on other students.
Correct. Absolutely right. One of the answers is right. There are many answers. I came across many answers, and you're absolutely right. So see, I know all the schools do arrange very good programs. I don't get to go to all the schools, but I know that schools arrange very good programs. Every school have at least twice size teacher training program. They do have a stress management program. They do have a classroom management program, so on and so on and so on. And trust me, to be very honest, when I created my program, I was teaching them classroom management. I was teaching them how to grab attention and all these basic stuff which I wanted to teach. But after my research, after talking to these teachers, I started my research. I started speaking to all the principals, all the owners of the college and schools, and all the dean, vice chancellor, every people where I could get access to. I sat with them, I sat with the management team, I started realizing what they are expecting out of their teachers. I sat with all the teachers. What are their core challenges, day-to-day challenges, long-term challenges? I spoke to a teacher who was teaching from 35 years, and I spoke to a teacher who just started in 3 months. So variety of people came from different, an army officer who became a teacher, from different, a corporate person became a teacher, a villager who became a teacher. I have been to many government schools also. So I collected all the data. And I realized, yes, all these are points are very valid. They must learn classroom, everything they must learn. So no denial on that. But there's something they need extra. There's something they need more. And I did one exercise with all the teachers, more than 1,200 teachers, I think. And if you are watching me today, I want you, I challenge you to do this exercise with your respective student and give them that atmosphere. Okay. So how it has been done, that's also important. Ask your student to write down one thing that I wish my teachers should know. One thing I wish my teacher should know. It could be about education. It could be about teaching. It could be about anything. One thing I wish my teacher should know. And the answers has blown their mind. The answers have blown their mind. It has completely changed the way they have been teaching for many years. They thought this has to be completed in 40 minutes. 40 students, 30 students, 60 students. They have to complete the syllabus. They have to complete the extracurricular activities. They have to make sure their numbers are up to the mark. They have to make sure that discipline is maintained. They have to make sure the class is quiet. Completely opposite to what the answer have come. And that has changed completely the way I conduct faculty development program. The way I conduct all my program has completely changed. Now, do you want to learn the secrets of becoming a transformational educator? Raise your hand if you ask. Otherwise, I will just continue to the way I teach. Thank you, Aati, Indrakant, Jasar, Koyal, Kamodi, Devi, Poona ma'am. Thank you. Sorry, I'm taking your first name. Do apologize me. With all due respect. So thank you so much for your participation. Yes.
Ms. Suchetana Sarkar is saying, yes, we would love to know that. Thanking you.
So there's a long answer, short answer, but we are running out of time. It's all about to be 12. So I have to rush. one of the answers that will help to solve many, many things. I wish my teacher knew that we want to learn the way we want to watch a movie or play a game. Very, very small answer. One of the answer was, why can't teacher act like teacher XYZ? I want all my teachers to act like teacher XYZ. I want, so they have seen Khan sir, okay? I don't know whether you're aware. There's a Mr. Khan sir, very famous food teacher on YouTube. I want them to teach like Khan sir. And I was watching this clip and I was just sharing with Bhairavi that I want to show the clip, but unfortunately that copyright claim may come. In that clip, this Khan sir and one more gentleman, they were sitting in KBC, okay, Kaun Banega Crorepati. And Amitabh Bachchan was asking, okay, can you teach me something? And Khan sir talk about electron, proton, and neutron. And the way he narrated, Amitabh Bachchan said, till the time I'm alive, I will never forget this electron, proton, and neutron. And Khan sir said this in KBC, and he keeps on telling to everybody in every class, I challenge you to forget what I teach. If I teach, it's my guarantee nobody can ever forget what I teach. That's the commitment. That's the conviction that he has on his teaching. And people, students right now who are so much influenced by Instagram, YouTube, they look up to that teacher and then look up to you. And they expect you to become, act, and behave like them. But there is fundamental difference. Of course, here are different setup. He's teaching some different subject. He's independent, no time limit, blah, blah, blah. But there's something that we can extract and learn. So the crux of that entire outcome is, there's a full day training. I can't teach you everything. But the crux is storytelling. If teacher talks to us like humans, we will learn better. Full stop. If teacher talk to us like a human, we will learn better. Well, that's it. And what can be the better source of making somebody feel human is storytelling. You go home, your spouse, your children, or family member ask, how was your day? That's a human thing, correct? Then you start telling your story. Oh, today, we attended a very good session from Mr. Mahendra Thakur, and he talked about storytelling, and this is what I really like. This is what I don't like. I hated him. He was very, very boring. Whatever. And vice versa.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Or whatever happened in your school today, one student came and she told me this, and I felt so good. You're telling a story. Vice versa, you're purchasing something, telling a story. You're calling somebody, telling a story. Most of the time, you keep on telling story. Now, my question to all of you who are watching this, do you believe you are a good storyteller?
I am not.
Good. Trust me.
I will learn from you today that.
Most of the teachers, when I ask this question, only 30 to 40%, that too on a higher side, people raise their hands. Otherwise, mathematics, economics, zoology, chemistry, physics. Oh, sir, what are you talking, sir? No, we don't have time for story. There's so complex stuff that we have to teach. We can't tell stories. Come on. It's not humanities. It's not arts. It's not Hindi. It's not the language, sir. It's not history that we have to teach. We have to teach complex subject. We have to teach complex topics. I also believe, because I am also a technical person, right? So I said, okay, this is purely transactional, I say, you say, game over. That's where I learned everybody can be a good storyteller, because by birth, we all are good storyteller. It's just that we don't practice it enough. To do anything in life, I always tell you in all my programs, you need only two things. Number one, skill. To do something like you want to reach from Bangalore to Chennai, You want to go there, you have a car, but you don't know how to drive. So you don't have that driving skills. To do something, you need a skill to do it. You want to become a good teacher. You may be good in XYZ, you may be a gold medalist, but you are not a good teacher. So probably students don't appreciate the way you are teaching. Though you are very good, you know this is the best way, but your students do not respond in the same way. There are certain skills which are missing in you. So to do something, you need skills. But one thing which is greater than skill is 10 times, 100 times greater is your will. In order to do something, you need a skill, but more than skill, you need will. You know how to drive a car. You have a money. You can also fly by aeroplane, but you don't want to go to Chennai. Game over. If you have a will, you will acquire skills. How many of you agree? And if you have a skill, but if you do not have a will, you will not do it.
Absolutely, I agree.
Full stop. So, I will make all of you a great storyteller by end of this program. Just have the will. Now, Chip and Dan helped run an annual class at the Stanford University in California. The students are asked to deliver a 1-minute speech, the convincing speech to their peers. And all the students were provided the same data. Half of
Mr.
the
Mahendra, sorry to break you, but your slide is not moved, what you're talking.
Okay. All right. I want them to listen to me. I did not put
Yes.
this thing in the slide.
Yes.
So there are research. It's a very long research. If I put it, you won't be able to say it. Long research, I will just summarize it.
Okay.
All the students are provided the same data. Half of the students must argue for one point of view, and the other half of the people has to just talk the opposite. Like a debate program, how it happens in our school, same way, they have to debate. Now, the Stanford students, just imagine, okay, these are typical high quality good students. They are very good in presentation, they are very good in facts, numbers, data. So they have been asked to give the presentation. After the presentation, a movie was shown, some comedy movie, some video clip. And after the presentation, they asked the audience. So the presentation was there, movie was there, and then they asked the question, some question answer. How many of you can write the key points from each speech they have heard? Working from the memory because they have nothing, no notes to refer. Now, students are surprised at how little they can remember. Although they had a lot to remember from a speech, and they were some of the best students, just mind it, but they were not able to write the 30% of what they have seen in the brain. That proves the point. So then entire summary of this entire research proves the point. This was a tipping point. It proves clearly that use of stories can make your ideas stick in the mind of your audience. So what they did is the same data, again, the second group, they presented the same data with a story. And then they asked the same question to the separate group of people. They were not the same group of people. How much do you remember? And most of them were able to remember 80% of what they have heard from the speech. It's a proper story done by Stanford. Now, we all know the storytelling. And I know what you are waiting for. How, sir? All of good, sir. Tell me, what should I do for my classroom? Because in mathematics, tell me, sir, how can I incorporate storytelling? That's a very valid question. Our brain is built to learn from stories. Stories grab and maintain attention. That's what we all know. If you are able to grab the attention, that's the first thing. Maintain the attention and retain the information that you shared, you are able to teach any subject to any students and they will not forget easily. Now, how to do it? I'll directly come to the main point. How we are able to do it? There are two brains, we all know, left brain and right brain. Left brain is for what? Logical. Right brain is for what? Creativity. So if I ask you, do you remember a movie that you have seen? Or do you remember a very famous movie which you have seen during your childhood or when you were young? Now, whenever you got a chance to see that movie proper in cinema, do you remember that movie? Do you remember the name of that character? Do you remember the famous song? Chances are that you will be able to remember most of them, most of the stuff from that movie. The reason being is because all that information stored in your right brain. That's a creative brain. That's required imagination. That requires creativity, colors, feelings. All those stuff are stored in right brain. At the same time, in order to make sense, your left brain has to be active. Now, when it comes to Indian education system, our Indian education system right now, the current education system that we are seeing, it has prominently focused on developing your logical brain. So it was designed to create your logical brain more dominant compared to your creative brain. That's where you see, mathematics or any subject that requires logic. People score good marks and they are considered so-called smart. Oh, they are very smart. We have had IQ tests. I don't know if people still use it in the school, but it's been stopped by most of the countries. So people used to have IQ test, purely logical, numerical test, visual and numerical test, not required. There are 8 multiple intelligence. We all have, I think, in your whatever education that you have gone through, we all know the theory of multiple intelligence.
Yes.
We have logical brain, we have visual brain, we have kinesthetic brain, we have music brain, we have naturalistic brain, different intelligence that we have. Not the brain, different intelligence that we have. You may be good in one intelligence, but there are other intelligence which also contribute to your brain, that also contribute to your intelligence. So you have to involve all the senses and all the intelligences to make it more meaningful and more impactful. Do you agree? I mean, am I making sense to you? Whenever you are teaching in your classroom or whenever you are talking to somebody, imagine a person who has got visual, auditory and kinesthetic, a setup, and all these sensors are on. Everything that you teach, these sensors has to be activated. And 8 multiple intelligence, the 9 intelligences, it has to appeal to the respective intelligence if you are teaching that subject. So if you are able to incorporate these very simple method, you will be able to tell a good story. For example, mathematics. So there was a little town in Bangalore and there was a magical garden with flowers that seems to grow in a unique way. So in a garden, different flowers growing on their own pace, in their own speed. Now, curious minds gathered with their math teacher called Miss Thomas. Miss Thomas discovered the secret behind the flower wonders, why these flowers are growing in a different rate, different speed, different speed. So imagine that now when you have to conduct this same program in your class, you can use a different setup that I will teach you in just 2 minutes. So she explained, imagine each flower has its own growth rule, like a special dance move. The bigger the flower gets, the faster it grows. And we can express this dance using something called a differential equation. Now, anybody who's a math teacher here know how difficult it is for a student to know differential equation. Very difficult. Integration, differential equation. These are a very, very complicated topics. So, if you know the magic of differential equation, you can exactly predict how the flower is going to grow, how much bigger it is going to grow, and how fast it is going to grow. So all the students were very intrigued with this question. And Miss Thomas took them to garden. She pointed out the blooming garden flower. And she said, let's figure out how fast this flower is going to grow at different size. Together they measured, they observed, and they went back to the class. Miss Thomas shared a very simple equation that is connected with the growth rate of the flower size. It was like a magical spell, that formula of differential equation. You know better, all the math teacher, you know very better. It was a magical spell that explained the flowers dance move. And now we can use this equation to predict how any flower in our garden will grow. It's like having a secret code to understand nature's choreography. Now, this is just made up by me, okay? And I could not see, I was not very familiar with all these terms. So I just made this story and written down so that I don't forget. Now, you just imagine in mathematics class, and you have to teach differential equation, very complicated subject. And you imagine, okay, all of you are sitting students, you are in this garden right now. And in the garden, you have a different flowers. Every flower will go bigger and bigger, and the speed will be different. If I give you a magic formula that can predict which flower or the rate of the flower size and the rate of speed which they will grow, don't you think you will have a magical power to tell each plant, each flower about their growth? How many of you want to learn this? Raise your hand. Build that curiosity among your students. And then, game is over. Then you teach whatever you are supposed to teach. Simple. Similarly, in economics, I have a lot of examples, but I think we are running out of time. So I'll just come to the crux of how it has been done. Now, the example that I showed for mathematics can be applied anywhere. Now, question is, sir, I'm not good in teaching or storytelling. You are good in teaching, but not storytelling. What can I do to incorporate storytelling in my subject like economics, mathematics, physics, or any other complicated subject? The very 6-step formula that I want to teach you, whatever you can grab, just grab. Number 1, build the character. So suppose you want to talk electron, proton, neutron, make them a character. Every story will have a character. You just go back to any story that you know, you will remember that you have a character. So you can create a character out of the classroom, out of the topic, out of the subject that you want to teach. Create the character. Suppose you want to teach GDP. So GDP is again a complicated topic in economics. Suppose you are going to, so Pooja is a very little girl and she went to her village and she wanted to find out how my village is doing, how rich is my village. Now tell me how she will be able to identify whether the village is rich or not. To set a character, it doesn't have to be the character from the topic, but GDP you want to bring out, set up the character. And the easiest way to set up a character is the practice that I teach to all my students is you pick up 2 students and make them the character. 2, 3, 4, whatever number are required, or 1. And just take their name. Suppose Bharvi is going to a shop and she sees 4 apples. Now she goes back to home, but there are 7 people. Now tell me what is the probability of getting 1 apple to her youngest sibling? Something. So I am just making up. Please forgive me. Just use any character from the classroom and put it in your story. You don't have to teach main subject as a story. That you will teach the way you have been teaching. But to build the atmosphere, to build the curiosity, to grab the attention, you have to use a story. So always use character. Second is setting. Setting is once, what happened in the year 2014, I was conducting my first program and it was in Pune, one of the very old schools. So you use date, time and context. Use once upon a time in the 16th century, people had no idea how to measure time. So what did they do? What Murthy sir was telling us in the beginning of the program, calculus, then go back to algebra. You have to know the originating of your all the topics. Any term that you want to teach, just Google it and find out how that term was evolved and invented at the first place. Trust me, this is one of the most effective storytelling method. Any term that you want to tell them, if you are able to tell them the originating story of that term, they can never forget it. That's most effective. So point number 2 is setting. How that term, how that topic was created. What was the need of creating the speed of light? If you are able to tell them that story in just 1 minute, they will be glued to what you are teaching them. Conflict. We all love conflict. Human brain is designed to see the conflict. So always when you are telling a story, create a situation where they feel curious. What is going to happen next? What happened? Something has to go wrong. That's where they will realize the importance of being right. So any of your topics, it could be chemistry, it could be physics. When they put out the gas in the open air, it went into oxygen, and what happened? Everything, blah blah blah. To create a intentional conflict in your storytelling, that's where your story is going to become more interesting. So you have taken a topic, given some context, originating stories, pick up the character from the classroom, took that character to the situation, created a conflict. Then plot. Plot is very important, but may not be. Plot and setting are almost very, very together. Okay. So which context you are talking about? Theme. You are going to teach an educational story. Okay. It has to connect with the subject that you are teaching. Many students love the teacher who comes and talks about all the life gap, all the good things they taught. They talk about economics, they talk about world politics, everything. They love, because everybody wants to do chit chat. But you can never miss the theme, because you're in the classroom setup, right? So remember the theme of your story. Sir was talking about emotion. Murthy sir, exactly. Your story has to be funny sometimes, or most of the time I would prefer a funny story more over anything. Your story has to involve at least trigger 3 to 4 emotions. Connect the story that I started with about my first school. You might be able to observe a couple of emotions that I was able to trigger in you. Correct? Emotion has to be there. Dialogue has to be there. If you are able to build the dialogue like a movie, sir was talking, you have to treat it like a movie. So Electron told to the Prochan that why you are always, taking a circle around me. And she said, because we are opposite and we can't face each other directly. So we have to do like a kusti, like a boxing.
Yes.
You make it conversational. If your topic you are able to make it conversational, you have won the game. Narrative voice. Sometimes you remember Mahabharata that used to come, Main Samay Hoon, or in maybe many movies you see, once upon a time there was a little village. Narrative story. And most of the case you would be that narrative story. Or you can create a fictional character. That fictional character will comes from your imagination. Use your imagination power to build anything that you want. Because you are in classroom, you can build whatever you want. And trust me, your students, they are 10 times better in creating stories based on what little thing that you are providing them. You just tell them, once upon a time, there was uh, a situation in a village where nobody was able to drink water, and it was a drought-like situation. People could not bring water. It was very, very far away. Then the student thought, what? Then one of the villager thought, can I do something to bring rain to my village? And then he started learning about evaporation. He started learning about how the water is changing its state from liquid to gas. And that is why, dear students, today we will learn. Just imagine what will happen if this water will go and created a cloud. They will imagine 10 times better, bigger than you. But just use the stories. Unexpected twist. I made the blender. I reached how many minutes late? Good. Relevance. You all know. Consistency. Your story has to be consistent. You can't go here and there and then all of a sudden tell a story and then here and there, then all of a sudden tell a story. No. Consistency is the key. You need to make your own pattern of telling a story. Make a note of these points, okay? Now, some of the practical tips again to add on. Number one, nobody is genius in storytelling. Everybody whom you see a great storyteller. So there was an image of Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. What is common in all of those people? They all were great storytellers. Why people love some personality? Because they are very good storyteller. So you have to practice, and practice. See, we always tell our students, who are not good in their academics, sir, I'm not good in mathematics, sir, what should I do? I'm not good in English, what should I do? Beta, study, practice, study, practice, apply, test, and you will be good. Exactly, that's my point. Practice. Now, how do you practice? Don't practice directly in the class. You don't have to. Practice at your home. The moment today, right now, after this call, the call is off. You tell one story. Today, you know what happened? I learned this something. You start narrating something, and you have been doing all day long. I'm telling you, I can see you. I'm that hacker, okay? I'm mind hacker. I can see all of you. You all are a great storyteller. So start practicing it. Number two, try to explain those topics to yourself. If at all you have time, try to explain, can I put a story in it? Do a calculation, write notes. There are many trainers, many educators, when they started their career, they used to make notes. How I'm going to, the lesson planning, how I'm going to teach this. Many good educators still do it. I want to challenge, I want to request, I want to tell you, all the educators, from today onwards, you revisit all your lesson planning and put a story in each of the lesson that you are going to teach. So pick up your old book where you have done the lesson planning, or buy a new one, start writing. And I'm going to give you a Raman, how it can be done in just few seconds. So just stay tuned, okay? If you're about to leave, oh, there are 150. The people are just coming. By end of this program, I am going to give you that Brahmastra that will ease your job in just few seconds. So just stay tuned. Second is, once you practice, revisit your lesson plan, put a story, intentional story. Create it, copy paste. See, we all have this magical device called mobile phone. In that magical device, there's a very magical tool is called WhatsApp. In that WhatsApp, there are so many great people who say good morning, good evening, good evening. And there are some magical people who also keep on sharing inspirational thoughts, motivational story. From today onwards, start seeing, can I incorporate the knowledge, information that I'm consuming right now and just wasting it? Can I utilize in my classroom? that's the sign that you are change competent. If you start seeing content everywhere, if you start seeing stories everywhere, my dear educators, trust me, your life is transformed from today onwards. We may not be able to see each other, we may not be able to meet going forward. I don't know that. But if you are able to see stories in everything that you see, you have become a transformational educator. One more practice is whenever you have to do a session, whenever you want to become a storyteller, always watch some YouTube videos. There are many good TED Talks, if you are familiar. TED Talks are a very good source. Now, you don't have to consume all the data. No, I don't want. I know you are very busy, you don't have time, and you don't watch that mobile very often. Go to YouTube, type your particular topic. So if you have seen Byju's, if you have seen all these e-platforms, they have tricks. If you have been to Kota, if you know somebody, how they teach in Kota and all these competitive exams, they always give tricks. And that's how they are able to score, the students are able to score better. I'm not saying you to follow that. I'm absolutely against it. But as a good educator, the transformational educator always picks up the best thing. He's like a sponge. He or she is like a sponge. They take all the positive things from around them. Just pick it up and see, can you incorporate in your lesson plan? Can you incorporate in your classroom? Again, a very good trick that I learned from my own training. So I was conducting a teacher's training program. Unfortunately, I could not use my PPT due to technical glitch. So I'm back only with my hands. I had nothing to share. Though I have experience, I could keep on talking. What I did is, I asked all the teachers about their challenges. Okay, so suppose they want to teach one topic in their subject. So I picked up all their topics which they want to convert into a story. I made them sit in a circle and I told them, 30 minutes, create your own story and share with each other. In that 30-minute exercise, every single teacher, I think there were 60 teachers, they all came up with such a beautiful story. They learned the art of storytelling in just 30 minutes. Rest of my 4 hours are just, wasted. I didn't need them. It was covered. In 30 minutes, everybody learned the secret of storytelling. So again, to create your own story, to pick up a topic and share among your peer group, not with the students, among your peer group. So if anybody who's watching in a group, suppose one of the school and 5 teachers are watching this video, please go back to your classroom whenever you're meeting and share one topic with each other. Beautiful, magical activity. Trust me, you will thank me. You will reach out to Bharvi ma'am, you will reach out to STIP, you will reach out to me and say, yeah, this was phenomenal. That's the part of storytelling. Bharvi ma'am, time check. How much time do we have?
Yeah, we are almost done. It's 29.
Okay, so we can open for question answer and then I will share the magic trick and then we can wind up the session.
Okay, that was a wonderful session. I'm sure all our participants are enlightened today, with how storytelling they can use it. Now coming to the questions, I have a question from Mr. Sunil Sisode.
Okay.
He's asking, most of the time, stories are from the writer's own life. How can we develop a strong storyline on imaginary level like Salman Rushdie?
Perfect.
That's a beautiful question. I mean, really made me also think when I answered. I mean, I read this question.
So that's a fantastic question that also tells me your imagination power.
Yes.
Right? It means you are almost very close to Salman Rushdie in creating stories. By asking this question, you have already shown your potential. Now, what happens is, storytelling is an art. It's a full-time job. So suppose you want to become an author and you want to create stories like all the famous authors, Shakespeare and all those people, you have to sit down and activate your right brain. And there's something called monk zone that you have to come in. So all the creative people, if you have ever seen these creative people, they they are in their different world altogether, because there are always their right brain is highly active, and they keep on writing. Number two, you have to read a lot. I will only able to tell whatever I'm speaking based on how much I have read. And just by looking at me, you can see, okay, the knowledge that I have, because I have read that much or I have interacted with those people. So you have to read a lot in order to write that kind of storytelling. Number three, experience. You have to see the life in an aesthetic way. So, for example, I am attending a program. So today I have attended a program by Mr. Mahendra Thakur. It was organized by SDI. That's a very general perspective and common perspective everybody take. But if you want to become a storyteller or a writer like him, you have to put that again, context, setting, plot, and theme. Today, it was Saturday and I was very busy. But yet I knew that I had to attend this program because it was keep on bothering me. I wanted to know more about it. So I took my shower, I got freshened up, I was dressed up, and I opened my laptop. I attended this program from my laptop. And I saw this beautiful lady called Bharvi. She opened the program. And I knew from the moment she started talking, I knew this program is going to be very helpful. And then came this gentleman called Mr. Dr. Murthy. He was such a profound speaker. And in just 10 minutes, he has summarized the entire program. And then came the speaker, Mahendra Thakur. So you see, same thing. But you started putting that plot, context, and setting. Aesthetic, you start observing aesthetic around you. I'm sure you'll be able to convert into words. Anybody who's able to articulate their emotions can become a fictional writer. So that's number one. I know it's not the exact answer that you may be expecting, but now you create an imaginary story. Trust me, nothing is imaginary. Nothing is imaginary. Whatever he has written, he might have experienced it somewhere. After reading so many books, after meeting with so many people, after watching so many movies, it's come. See, no knowledge in this world is created or invented by anybody. It's always recirculated generations, years, and after years. Nothing is new. Everything was here, and it will always be here.
Okay. The another question here is from Anonymous. This gentleman says, is there any fixed structure for creating stories?
The answer is yes and no both.
How?
So I know you are looking for a structure, just like me. I'm just like this. Cut the crap. Tell me the fixed formula. I will apply. So I really like you. So your name is Anonymous. Yes, the structure is: think about a character. Think about the context. Character, context. Context comes setting, plot, everything comes in the context. Environment. Character, environment. Need. Create a need. Character, environment, need, and a solution. Full stop. 4 things. Character, context, environment, need, solution. That's a short answer. Long answer is, whenever we have time, I'll tell you. Beautiful way of perfect structure. So probably you can reach out to me later on and then we'll discuss.
Okay. Again, one question from Mr. Baljit Arora.
Yes.
How can we help students focus on listening? There are actually 2 questions which can be interlinked. Okay. There's another question from Mr. Sunil Shisode. He's asking, nowadays children are not interested in listening.
Correct.
They in old mythological stories especially. As
Correct.
they have lot, as we discussed, like, there are multiple ways. They have gadgets, they have internet, they have mobile, laptop, everything. They have all the sources. So how you can make them understand what you are trying to teach them, and how to make make them interested, make them get interest into what the storytelling the teacher is going to do, how to make them understand that they have to, it is good, and how will they listen to it?
Very
If
good.
they have
And-
gadgets in their hand, they are so much distracted because, right?
No, no, absolutely right. Very valid question. I have been facing this. Every single education institute that I have been to, everybody, also a parenting coach. So all the parents come to me with the same problem. Absolutely valid, genuine problem. This effort, what SDIP is doing, is a one step closer to bringing their attention back. So I told you in my faculty development program, I have got 20 points to make a transformational educator. After 20, this is one of the point called storytelling. It's a, of course, permutation and combination of multiple things. Long answer. Now let me come to a short answer. We are telling story just to grab their attention. That's the first purpose of storytelling. But how you are telling a story is also important. Because if you come and tell me, let me tell you a story of my first faculty program when I was going to a school in Pune. This is what happened. No, nobody is interested to listen to your story. You share your experience. Now coming back to mythological stories. Do not say mythological stories in order to teach them a valuable lesson. They don't care. Trust me. No. Teach them the relevance. There was a topic in my PPT, if you have seen, relevance of your story. Why should I bother about what Karna got or what Krishna did, but what, something somebody has done? Why should I care? Okay, sir, all is great, sir. I'm okay, sir. I should focus on my life. But if you start telling, do you know what is trust? Do you trust your friend? Okay, raise your hand if you trust your friend. Now give a high five. Now, suppose your friend is going to die and he tells you, you also join my hand and I will, you will also die. Will you go along with your friend? Raise your hand now. No, 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 no. What happens? What is the difference? Despite of knowing that your friend is doing wrong, but will you support him? No. But there was a character in Mahabharata who knew that his friend is doing wrong. He knew that he may also die in that process, yet he supported. He knew that after donating my kavach, he may die. He still donated. If you put a context, just see the context. And that man was Karna. Karna was a person and then blah and blah. Now, tell your story. Simple. If you are able to connect the relevance with their current story, current state of mind, their current challenges, they will listen to you. Trust me, it always works. One more thing, one of the points that I teach in my faculty development program is art of asking questions. QLC. So the module name is QLC. Q for questioning, listening, and presenting. So I'm just talking about Q. You start your session with questioning one. How many of you, and then ask them to raise a hand. If you want to grab the attention, so I'm answering both. If you want to grab the attention, use their kinesthetic energy. Ask them to raise a hand, clap, whatever is permittable in your respective school and educational institute. Because somebody, there are many schools, they don't invite me again because I teach them so many things and the school is disturbed and they make so many noises. So I don't want that to happen with you. But make them use their kinesthetic energy. Second is ask them to participate. So I'll tell you, if you want to teach something which you are not interested and you have difficulty and you have no time, you have to finish all the copy checking and all, give them an assignment. Make a group and tell them you have to teach this topic in a story format, in a skit. You have to teach this topic in a skit. You have to teach this topic in a song. Just create a story and then you see the magical happen. Your entire curriculum can be covered. So that's what I teach also, art-based learning. Your entire curriculum of any complex subject can be done by the student itself. And trust me, the way they do research, they will come up with all the stories. They will they will beat all of us. So there are multiple ways of doing it. But question is, Are you willing to take that leap? Because you have been teaching for so many years. Are you going to take that bold step of removing your old belief system, unlearning everything that you have learned, and start relearning new approaches, new concepts, new methodologies of teaching? Most of the schools, so come this they are stuck here because they have been following this pattern for so many years. And if they want to cope up with this generation's attention, they have to change. There's no other option. I hope I am able to answer to a certain bit. You can always reach out to me. Next
Then
question.
in that case, how these stories are going to, help teaching our 11th and 12th standard students who are actually, having so much of, what do you say, impact of the social media nowadays, they are attached to their mobile almost like, more than anybody else. I mean, they don't even want to watch TV nowadays. They don't want to read papers. They don't want to read books. So how is it going to help? I mean, whatever you have taught, but how it's going to help them?
Everything that I taught is for the 11th and 12th grade student.
Yes.
Grabbing their attention, telling stories, making context, setting everything. Okay. The day we become better, the day when we transform ourselves as an educator, as a teacher, we will start seeing that reflection in their eyes. The way we are able to connect with the student from today onwards, you will start seeing them respecting you, giving you attention, and paying attention on their class. Now, 11, 12, especially when you were referring about social media, one shortcut that I used, and I'm not recommending this shortcut, okay, but I just want to share because this question came up. So I have few students who are in 11 and 12th grade who are very much distracted, not paying attention in studies, and their parents are going crazy. And they come to me for counseling. I do counseling, but I know that counseling is not as effective as it should be. So in order to counsel them, you know what I did? I sat down with one of my relative, who was of their age. And I started whatever they were referring, I heard all the games, all the social media, everything they were referring. I made the notes. I started watching it. I started playing that game they were playing. I played for 4 hours in that night. And I learned everything about that game. Upar se, that little bit. I saw their influences. So one of the things is very popular right now is a Korean group. There is a dance group, or I don't know, some group, but
Yes,
Korean people.
yes.
Some weird name is there. I don't know. But I was saying it's a crazy. What is the sense? But they were watching it. So I watched. I saw their story. I went to Wikipedia. I went to Google. I studied about that Korean group completely, all the news and every articles, just to grab, half an hour, fast, watch video, fast. But I got some context out of it, and blah blah blah, so and so on. Coming to the next counseling. This counseling, I did not start my counseling at all, and I started asking about, I don't know, some BTS, GTS, some name. What is happening with this group? Do you think this character is, parting away? Do you so he's a right person? And they started talking, and they started telling me all the stories. And then came to a point where I was able to convey the message that I wanted to convey. And it's like an entire story, and I just conveyed a little bit, and it did the magic. So, if at all you have that patience and capability and time, that leverage, please understand what this 11 and 12 grade students are doing. What is the topic they are talking? What is the cool thing which they want to do? If you have seen in classroom, you might find there are a couple of students who will always back answer you. Do you know the psychology? They want to look cool in the class.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Step out, they laugh. Oh, this is what he has done. If you are able to find out what is cool and use that coolness in your classroom, trust me, they are going to love you forever. You
We
will
should try.
become their favorite teacher. But again, the question is, are you willing to put that effort? And if yes, you have all the answers.
Okay, that's a real good explanation. I have a question from Miss Parvati Kumari Devi. She's asking how to make tell stories to the children who cannot read or write properly. Or in addition to that, what even I would like to ask, there are some children with ADHD who are never at one place. So how you are going to make them sit? Okay, fine. I'm going to teach you something, and you want, even if it is a storytelling, how will you make them understand? To both these, like ADHD also and these slow learners also.
So this is a
They are
special.
not autistic, but they are not autistic. Even if they're slow learner, they are not autistic.
So this comes as a special case, okay, and it has to be dealt with case-to-case basis. Every such student that you come across, which is so-called slow learner or so-called ADHD, you will find a different trigger point in each of one of them. So as a counselor, I know that every children will have a different trigger point. If you are as an educator, if you are able to identify those trigger points, fantastic enough. Or probably you can sit with the counselor and find out those trigger points, or with the parents you can find out. Those trigger points will help you to design your classroom planning or lesson planning, catering to that particular student. Now, in my experience, what happens is, because we have got very limited time, we have to complete the syllabus, we have to maintain the class. Generally, we tend to make sure that 80% of our students learn what we are teaching, and we can't do anything about 20% or 10%. This is what is general practice. I'm not saying you do it, but general practice. Now, taking out these 20% people or 10% students from your batch, and there has to be some extra effort to be given to them by you or the management of your school. What you need to do is, for ADHD, it cannot be classroom. Simple answer. ADHD, if you want to learn them, you have to take them out and they will learn. Trust me, they will learn. It could be open area. It could be a garden. It could be some place in your school. And you have to create a situation. So, for example, I'm a certified outbound trainer. Now, what I have learned in outbound training is to take people out from their respective workplace, you take them to some resort in a jungle, and you make them do things. There are props, then you have to climb and blah, blah, blah. And in that, everybody learn, okay? Same techniques are being used by these special or children. So there are various methods which will take a lot of time for me to explain. But the short answer is, treat them case-to-case basis. Now, the first question that Ma'am was asking, that where a student cannot even read and write, how you are going to tell a story? They are the best person to tell a story because they cannot read and they cannot write. So they will only remember, their all ears will be on you to listen to your stories. Now, you have to create an atmosphere and tell them, I want you to write a story on so and so thing. So you make sure that they write 3 lines. Don't give a entire page. I want you to write 3 lines about how you want to spend your day. Or something about, so tell them a half story. You know, Ram was going to so and so place, and then he met Feroz. Feroz and they were best friend. They wanted to go they want to cross the river, but they have no options. They looked around, there was a tree, they looked around, there was an old boat, but they don't know how to, sail the boat, and they were stuck. They were sitting on the bank of river, thinking what to do. Now you write what they should do in 3 lines or 4 lines, whatever, how many lines that you can write. What this will do is, because their imagination power is so strong, this will convert their imagination energy, which is your frontal lobe. Now, frontal lobe is a prefrontal, frontal, parietal, occipital, temporal. 5 lobes that we have. Each lobe is responsible for one function. So the frontal lobe energy will be converted into kinesthetic and temporal. This will help them to write. Of course, it is not going to happen on day one, but it takes gradual time. That's what I'm saying. It's a case-to-case basis. But trust me, there are various methods of making sure that they learn how to read and write better. And
What if I am not a good teller, or I'm not in mood to do any storytelling? I'm not in mood to go ahead and think of any story. I just want to finish what my topic is for today, to teach the students and go. What in
Wow.
that case?
Just like me, I am also like you. Exactly. I wanted to conduct this session. So, you know what I did? How do I do a lesson planning? I don't know. You can read. That's how I plan all my sessions. You can't, I know you can't read. First line is introduction of, second is welcome, third is what is storytelling, element of storytelling, how to use it in your classroom, question, answer, thank you. That's it. That's how I plan. That's how I wanted to actually come and tell you and go. But will you remember this session if I just came? Okay, so my dear friends, storytelling is very, very important. Storytelling changes your brain and it helps you to retain the information for a longer period. Now we will know how a story is useful in the classroom. So let's take the example of mathematics. Use this so-and-so story in economics, in zoology, whatever XYZ subject. Okay, now how you can become a storyteller? Number one, always remember the character, context, setting, plot, relevance, and that's how you will become a good storyteller. Hope you have liked my session. Thank you, Barry ma'am. Thank you, Modi sir. Thank you, SDRP and DSU for a wonderful participation. Bye-bye. You would not remember.
I haven't
Correct?
heard you.
Sorry?
I didn't hear you only.
So, if you are not in a mood, if you're not in a mood, do what I did. I only came and spoke. Trust me, I have around 27 PPTs here that actually wanted to tell you. But I knew that I would not be able to cover. This happens with me all the times. You just start talking about it. You will become a very good natural storyteller. Everybody's a good storyteller. But again, can I can I use this word dirty secret? And I'll tell you my dirty secret. Whenever I'm not in mood of teaching, I outsource my work to my participants. So when you are not in mood to teach a topic, you start asking somebody to come forward and talk about it and have a discussion, open discussion. And then again, make them do, can you convert into a story? And I will give you 4 characters. You have to use aeroplane, you have to use a dog, and you have to use a rifle, and you have to use water. Using these 4 characters on this topic, give me the story. I'm giving you 10 minutes. Your lecture is for 40 minutes. Huh? And then you sit and idle and just relax. And let them talk. And there's a time up. Okay, time up. Come on. Come. What is the topic? Good. Good. Very nice. Good. Hey, ladies, have they done a good job? Good. Now let's see the group 2. Oh, wonderful. Good. When you are not in mood, do this. All the teachers have been doing this in government schools. I have seen this. They come, they ask a student to read something from a book. The student read the book, and other people, they write and they go. I'm working with a couple of government agencies also, some NGOs also. They may not be using the right sense, but this is what they have been doing. Why not use it positively for yourself when you are not in a mood? When you are not a good storyteller, you are absolutely wrong. I'm telling you upfront on your face. You are wrong in saying that you are not a good storyteller. You are. Trust me. You are a great storyteller. It's just that you have not told your story. And after today's session, each one of you have become a great storyteller. Am I right in saying so? Raise your hand. Not a big deal. Just keep on talking. So if you're not a good storyteller, remove this belief system from your brain. We become what we think of most of the time. As we think, so we become. Yes. Don't think anything that you don't want to become. Do you want to become good storyteller? Keep on giving this affirmation to yourself. Oh, I'm a good storyteller. Use your body language. Use drama. Use voice modulation. Use pause. Use the gesture, expression. You will love it, I'm telling you. Your students are going to love. You are going to become their favorite teacher. You are going to be the teacher which they will never forget till their life. And trust me, we all have that deep desire to become that super teachers. Be it from today onwards. I know you are skeptical. Oh, if I use expression, they will not take me seriously. Oh, if I use expression, I will look funny. No, boss, you will not. No, trust me, you will not look funny. Because this generation, 12th and 11th grade students, you can't teach them in a way that you have been teaching them in past. You have to change. You have to adopt to their pace. You have to adopt to their language. You have to adopt to their way of functioning. You have to maintain discipline. But discipline is maintained by two things. Either you become very harsh and you give a lot of punishment, but you will lose respect. Or you make them do a self-discipline. Just to become close to you, just to gain your respect, they will follow what you say. And that's how you will be able to discipline them. And self-discipline works like a magic. Do you agree? Say yes or yes.
Yes, I say agree. I can see some hands raised.
Yes, yes. Any further question?
One last question I have. One anonymous question is there come from. How a storytelling can be used for each and every topic, each and every subject?
See, so trust me, you don't need to create for each and every subject. You don't have to. If you every day you keep on creating stories, you may not be able to complete it on time. So you don't have to create the short answer.
Cannot hear you well.
What I'm saying is, do not create stories for each and every topic.
Okay.
Depending on the context of the topic, because context is very important, you try to incorporate stories in at least 40 to 50% of your topics. Remaining 60 will be as it is. But the concept of stories can be applied like your voice modulation, body language, drama, expression, interest, curiosity, context, plot, setting. This can be used. So use, it's like a soul. Today, I'm not teaching you what to do. I'm teaching you how to do it. There's a difference. I'm not giving you fish. I'm teaching you how to catch a fish, correct? So use these concepts which I have taught you today and apply it in your day-to-day lesson planning. So whenever I do this 2 days full program, what we do, so there's a homework that is being given to all the teachers for 1 month. And next 1 month, especially it's been done in month of April, May, somewhere. Till the month of June, you will convert all your topics into a format of a story. Now, one of the misconceptions of story that everybody feels that story has to be very big. No, story can be just one-liner. Stories can be only two-liner. That's it. Because stories are being used to grab the attention. So that they are able to correlate. The brain is able to correlate the story of Ram and Firoz. And that's how they will remember the remaining topic. Getting my point? So it has to be two line, only context. Doesn't have to be all the topics.
Okay. Okay. That's good input from your side. I believe we are done for the question and answers today, and our time is also up. I would like to inform all the participants to stay tuned for our next webinar. Next will be on the 25th of November. Very interesting topic. Suicide prevention will be talked by Dr. Vikram Prabhu. You all are invited to join that webinar. The links will be shared from our cluster people in your region. Thanks to Mr. Mahendra Thakur for such an informative session. It was really, enlightening for our teachers. I have already got some feedbacks from them. Also, the teachers can key in their feedback question forms once the session is getting over. there will be a form displayed on your system. You can just key in, so we will know, what developments we have to do, further. And if you have any suggestions, you can always write back to me. You all have my number and email ID. And as well as if any school is interested to get in touch with Mr. Mahendra Thakur for their own training sessions, his numbers are displayed on the system. You all kindly get in touch with him. University will not be involved anywhere in those transactions. Okay, Miss Suchetna Sarkar, thank you so much. Thanks for the lovely sessions, he says. Got many new ideas to keep the class engaging and interesting. Happy Diwali to you, the whole of the same to you, ma'am. Happy Diwali to all the educators. May God bless you with all health, wealth, and may you succeed further in your next ventures. Thank you, Mr. Mahendra Thakur, and all the best to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, happy Diwali.
Yes, thank you.
I think I thoroughly enjoyed today's session, and I hope you also liked it.
Yes. Definitely.
Please